Anybody who's been following my channel for very long knows that one of my ongoing debates is about my wide wheel versus my MX-60. Beside each other, the wide wheel looks a little bit like a kid's toy, pretty much. You know, it's almost like one's an electric scooter and the other one's trying to be an electric motorcycle in a scooter platform, but it's more like moped levels of power. So let's just see where the bars come to when I'm standing and when I get up on it. Now I like this scoot because I can just quickly jam it in here where I usually store it, and it's no drama. So let's see what the MX-60 looks like when I stand beside it and when I get up on it. You can see it's different. Okay, so let's just go for a squirt around the area on this lovely election Saturday. That stand's really helpful for allowing me to transfer my weight back. Stand, carry rack. And I like the little inclusion on the dash, if I can see it when the light's right, that I've clicked into cruise control, which is convenient. I'm in gear 2 at the moment, and I'm probably going to try and sail around this corner. And yeah, that's lovely. Oh, we got some sort of fire happening over there. Probably just the sawmill doing a bit of burn off. There's no two ways about it. The scoot's really lovely for just someone who isn't enthusiastic. Now, I don't think I'm going to be selling this scoot in a hurry. And that's where the vexation comes from. It's like, why have they got like a $3,000 scooter and a $1,500 scooter? And I guess the answer is because I can. But I'm always thinking rationally and pragmatically, and have to ask myself, you know, if I only had one, which one would it be? Anyway, I'll just do a quick run past the polling station on this election Saturday, where we're voting for local government. What a fucking joke. I gotta say, the local government here are a patch of fucking dickhead clowns. Hang on a second, sorry. A bunch of narcissistic, selfish, ineffectual, dickheaded clowns. So, yeah, that might help to narrow it down. But unfortunately, that doesn't narrow down which fucking candidate I'd choose, because they're all the fucking same. Okay, enough about Australian politics. I'm just going to turn this off until I'm out of town. I just came cruising up the hill here, back out of town, and I was impressed with how quickly the scoot actually got up level with that car that was in front of me. Admittedly, it was a learner driver, and admittedly they were following the 40k speed limit, so it's no surprise that a 40k scooter will stick with a car that's doing 40k's. But you know, that's it's pretty easy to power out of the corners. Anyway, this is pretty friggin' steep here, so I know that my wide wheel doesn't actually get enough run up on this. So let's see how this goes. 46, 43, 42, 38. I don't want to be slowing down for the corner anyway. Check what's coming. That's pretty impressive. So this is straight off the charge, so that's good. Might just select a lower gear to... Yes, that's right. It threw me forwards when I engaged the power on the lower gear. Just another thought while I'm cruising along here, still engaged in gear 3 at some portion of throttle. once you're at these speeds, the wind noise in your ears is sufficient to kind of really damp out the motor noise. So it's only really when you're cruising along at lower speeds that the wide wheels quieter tyres are nicer. But I also wanted to say that, gee, it's hard to hear when there's a car coming. I also wanted to say that on this road today I'll be doing things and riding in such a way that it's kind of outside of the scope of what I really think that the wide wheel would do. And it's good to have this scoot as well. So if I only had to have one of them, having this pair as I have, if I didn't live down in the town and want to take my scoot in and out of the car to get, you know, transport down in the capital city when I'm down there working, and I didn't need to take the scoot in and out of the house because this thing's fucking heavy, then for just blasting around the countryside here, hands down, this is the more practical transport, especially when I get those kickboards set up to make it better for actually exciting riding. But we're going to go through the gap up over there into New South Wales and riding on this, doing, oh, that's interesting. I got some moisture appearing there. Very interesting. Riding this is an advantage because the 50% extra speed that this does means that the cars coming behind me are closing at a slower relative velocity and are therefore more likely to see me and be able to do something about it. This is an interesting little point here. You can see here there's some moisture coming in there. So this scoot hasn't actually been in the rain, and this is just from the relative differences of what happens in cold nights and heating up. Now everyone likes to go on about making their controllers waterproof, but the reality is that nothing is moisture proof in terms of the humidity in the atmosphere, and so making this waterproof essentially traps the water in there. We'll see if that clears soon, but anyway. So we're coming up this mountain pass here towards the border, and it's a pretty steep little hill. The scoot's still sitting on the 30 kilometers an hour. It's dropped from 33 to 30, but it's crawling up this nicely with you know, a modicum of cruise control. I wouldn't want to go bush here, but because of the bumpiness of the road, I often don't feel really comfortable taking my wide wheel up here. Having said that, it's not too bad. The biggest problem is just how I feel on the way back down, which I could probably solve by using the brakes, but why do that, hey? I often do like 46 on the way down here on the wide wheel. It's smooth enough, but there's enough undulations that if you didn't have good body posture, it'd chuck you. Queensland border closure, huh? Oh, here we go. So the border's just down there. See that four-wheel drive go over the grid where that white fence is in a minute. I might just head down there a bit and show you. Yep, that's where the border is, just over there where that four-wheel drive went through. That's how everyone's... I guess there's no border crossing office here anymore. Not worth it most of the time. So, I'm guessing this is going to be a quiet and boring job for these guys who are doing their stuff. Have a good day, guys. Okay, so we're doing 40 something down here, not even under power, so let's ramp it up to 5 and see what we get up to. Fucking glad I got that rack there. 57, feels pretty tidy. 60, 62, 64. feels pretty stable. Wouldn't want to fucking hit a bump though. 66. Really want to put my foot further back. Well, there you go. That's flat out. Can't see what the voltage is because the fucking moisture on there is killing it. Oh, let's go up to Browns Falls 8. Just, you know, opening my mouth while I think of something. Doing 26 here, which is probably 4 kilometers an hour faster than my wide wheel would actually do on cruise control at power setting. I don't use it too much in ludicrous mode, so well, not at all really, only for experiments. And you know, on the one hand, this feels about the same speed as the wide wheel because I'm higher. So the feel of speed on this is reduced because of the height, and also because I don't really need to be changing feet apart from just to give my legs a rest, which I do all the time anyway. But the speed of impact, if I hit anything, like fall off and land on the ground, that doesn't change. If anything, it's worse because I'm higher. Whoa, didn't even hear him coming. There's extra wind and stuff. You don't hear that shit. Which is bad. And if I had mirrors on this thing, because the handlebars are so, you know, far away, so close to me, you know, I'd need the mirror there so I could friggin' see. That's how it is on a motorbike. My mirrors are there and there, you know. But I could argue that this is a nicer, cruisier way of getting around, and it is. But is the purpose of coming up here on my scooter to get from point A to point B faster? And I don't think it is. It's just like I go for a bushwalk, which isn't about getting anywhere faster. It's about enjoying the scenery. Can't say that I really enjoy the scenery any more or less on this. I think there's a big element of people wanting faster and faster scooters who are actually just too friggin' lazy to get a motorcycle license to actually have something faster. And maybe they like to be in charge of the road when they're riding along on footpaths, you know, around San Francisco Bay Area or something with a whole bunch of other people on scooters. I don't know. I haven't quite worked it out. Pragmatically though, this thing's in theory going to require less maintenance this way because the bumps don't shock it up as much. Well, I'd love to know what the voltage is, but I can't see it. I'm going to cruise up to Daggs Falls, I think, but I might drop in here to Browns and have a quick look around. Oh good, there's nobody here. That's bloody fabulous. It's a great little picnic ground for families. So if you're someone who watches my channel and you're in the area and you want to, you know, check the joint out, come up here. Picnic ground. Dunnies down the back. Ooh, a little bit of side slip on the front there. Just gravity. Okay. I don't need to use the dunny, so... Oh, look at this. Off-road! I'm off-road! Oh my god, I'm off-road! Oh, hang on, I'm back on the road. Sorry. Can't help myself. Nothing coming. You'll notice that the amount of torque delivery on every electric scooter So that was basically leaning so far over that my hands in my stomach, which is pretty good. I usually use elbow and my stomach on the wide wheel. So we'll come for a blast up here at 36 Ks. It's nice with no one around. Often said people should just stay at home. Most of they're just going to come out here and chuck rubbish around the joint, make a mess, fuck off back home to McDonald's anyway. Well, here we are, folks. Daggs Falls. Got no idea why they call it Daggs Falls. Probably named after some dag. Okay. Well, there you go. How's the serenity? Well, one thing that's interesting about this little creature is that I've got a lot more ability to pivot the fuck that horn. Pivot the steering. Fucking horn. It's such a fucking pathetic thing, isn't it? Like, what a joke. Anyway, at least I can turn it around here more easily because I can turn the steering a greater angle, which, given the fact that it's such a freaking heavy beast, it's probably needed. Okay, well, let's get going. Okay, well, it should be a short little squirt down. Nobody coming. Got to say that does have some appeal. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think I'll be selling this because what's the fucking point? And now that I've got it, I can see if it grows on me, which was the reason to buy it. Needs a few mods, but overall I think it's going to be a very competent and different scooter to my other one. If you can afford it, buy both. Yeah, so now we're doing 60, more or less. I think my speedo's a bit inaccurate. Well, in this, in quotes, gear, I can actually power out of this curve. Not massively, because there's no fucking massive power on these things once they're up and going, but still. Okay, well, I've come back from a ride and it's gradually coming up to 59 volts, so I don't know, I've probably drained it down to 60% charge just in a quick squirt around this morning. So I'll jam it on the charger because, you know, why not? But it's interesting that moisture is still there. It was previously completely obscuring the voltage, so I couldn't read it while I was on the road, but there we go. Looks like it's not going to come back up to 60, which is nominal, so I don't know, I have to take my wide wheel in the same way, but I don't think it would use as much power because, for a start, it would take a longer time because it would be travelling slower. But yeah, it's an interesting experiment. I'll probably try and retrace my trips. For anyone who's even worried about power, and the only reason I'm interested in it is because power equals time, right, in recharging as well. So there you go. Okay, well, I've just thought I'd check the odo, and the trip was 19.9 kilometres, so that's interesting. 20 k's would probably run my wide wheel out of juice, so I don't know, certainly half or something. Anyway, the voltage is still below nominal, so, you know, basically from now on in, the power really starts to fall away. So there's a good time to whack it on the charge, so I will.